This is our PsychBuster project, in which we will be covering the myth that mentally ill people are more likely to be violent compared to normal people. So hi, I'm Danielle Collantes.
I'm Stephany Bueso.
And my name is Johnathan Herrera.
Mentally ill people are people with health conditions involving changes in emotion, thinking, or behavior. They are associated with distress and/or problems functioning in social, work, or family activities. Violence are people who are expressing aggression. The more elementary children were exposed to heavily violent media, they tend to get into more fights. Teens are in greater risk of being very aggressive. Normal people are those who conform to the social norms to fit in and do not have any mental illnesses or mental disorders.
And now on to the research that we have done. According to research published by the American Psychological Association, also known as the APA, out of the crimes committed by those with serious mental illness disorders, mental illness affects everyone differently. People don't always have to look or act crazy, like characters in films or TV shows, to experience the difficulty of mental health issues. The truth is, most people diagnosed with any mental health issue do not commit violent acts. In fact, only about 4% of violence in America can be traced to mental health problems. Only 7.5% were directly related to mental health symptoms. Schizophrenia, which is commonly misrepresented in the media, usually does not lead to violence. However, according to a book published by the APA, shootings by people with serious mental health issues represent less than 1% of all gun-related homicides each year. A 2006 survey found that 60% of Americans believe that people diagnosed with schizophrenia are likely to act more violently. Don Diefenbach, a professor at the University of North Carolina, analyzed how mental illness is portrayed on television. Characters with mental illness were 10 times more likely to commit a violent crime than other characters, and 10 to 20 times more likely to commit a violent crime than somebody with mental illness would in real life. Mental illness is commonly the focus in the news as a primary cause for violent acts instead of considering other factors. The truth is, people with mental health problems are more likely to be victims of violent crime and less likely to be the ones to commit them. In the film world, characters with mental health issues are often portrayed as unpredictably violent. A good example of this is the film Shutter Island, and where it is communicated to the audience that people who had been diagnosed with schizophrenia are more violent than people who had not been diagnosed with the disorder, a stereotype based on inaccuracy rather than fact. As a bit of background to the movie, Teddy Daniels, played by actor Leonardo DiCaprio, and his new partner arrive to the island to investigate Rachel Solando and an on-the-side project, a patient named Andrew Latis, who killed Teddy's wife, and he was also an inmate on the island. Things begin getting suspicious as they begin wandering the island, and he is experiencing major headaches thinking about his late wife. There is an eventual plot twist in that he is actually an inmate himself on Shutter Island and is experiencing delusions suffered with schizophrenia, and the headaches that he was suffering before were just from medication withdrawals. And he himself is Andrew Latis, and he killed his wife after she killed their kids.
So, mental illnesses have been found to be connected to nerve cell circuits or pathways functioning abnormally. In terms of pathways, certain brain areas may be affected, such as the limbic system. Other factors that may contribute to mental illnesses include genetics, infection, prenatal damage, or substance abuse. Now, an example of a well-known mental illness is dissociative identity disorder, which has often been associated with childhood trauma. The limbic system, in particular, is one of those areas of the brain that's mainly affected by this disorder. Hippocampus sizes have been found to be smaller in those who experience a childhood or sexual abuse, in comparison to those who also went through trauma, but did not develop symptoms. Psychologists hypothesize that smaller hippocampal and agmolar volumes would be found in those with dissociative identity disorder than in those who are healthy-minded.
We are only qualifying a small percentage of this myth, and that concludes the end of this MythBuster video.